Hello out there, slot car fans. Welcome, welcome. Motor City Slot Cars. So today I decided to do a little something here. We're going to look at um, a comparison of Scalextric tracks to Carrera. I think slot cars are making a big comeback nowadays. I'm back into it again. I've been in slot cars since I was a wee kid. I remember in the '60s when we got our first four-lane. I think it was Aurora car set. I wish I still had that today, but I don't. So when it came time for me to look for a new set, I was trying to decide between whether I wanted 132 versus 164, the miniatures, because I still have some of those cars from a child, or did I want to go to 132 and or 124 even? So what I did was I did my research. I looked at the two biggest manufacturers out there in terms of what's in the world, actually, which would be Scalextric and also Carrera, and decided I would stick with or go with a 132 type of vehicle or type of cars. So that's what I did. So I did my research, and a hard part was trying to find a set that would fit my budget because I am a working man, you know. I work for a living. So I did a few things. I looked around, compared them, weighed out the pros and cons of each. And this is just my opinion in terms of what I found. Um, both are great companies. Let me just get that out of the way, just in case one of the two is out there and you want to send me a track. Please do. I would love to review it and put it on my page here. But I'll start with Carrera. So I have a cousin that has a Carrera track, quite a big track. That's one of the things about Carrera, and the track is hard, has a hard finish on it. Um, the one thing that I did like about the track, there's several things I liked about it. One was you could run 132 and 124 vehicles on it in terms of the scale. I thought that was really cool because I thought maybe one day I'd go into a 124 scale and try to run those as well. I also like the fact that on his track, he has a digital track. He can put multiple vehicles on at the same time and run them. So it'd be four or five of us. We can sit there and we all have a controller, and we can just race around the track, as you know, and pass each other with a passing lane. He even had a pit stop on his, which I thought was great. So it was pretty cool. And then the software he had was Carrera software. It worked, but it was kind of iffy, shall I say, sucky in a way. That track was really, really expensive. He got a good deal on it because he purchased it from an estate sale. So he got quite a bit of track and like about six or seven cars as well, which were all digital, which I thought was kind of cool. He had wireless remotes or handheld remotes for the vehicles themselves. So that was cool. So with the digital track, for those that don't know, for each vehicle you have or each car you have one controller to control it. You can control it. You can flash the lights. You can switch lanes. It's even got brakes on there. You can hit brakes and things of that nature, which I thought was really, really cool. So I got a chance to use it, even have a couple of Carrera cars I do myself. So um, and we had a ball with it. But it's a huge track, and he has a pretty big basement. When I say huge, it is a big track. It's like I think it's like 8 by 16 or 20. It's a big track. It's 8 feet wide. It's a big track. So that was one of the things. And then the setup of the track in terms of what he had for the setup, I thought was really, really cool. So when it came time to look, I did look at Carrera. I looked around at the different sets that were out there. Couldn't find anything close to what my cousin had. Most of the ones that I saw that were digital, there were two types. There were types that had like two cars to it, and then two controllers. Didn't have a pit lane. Um, you had uh, a switching lane track, but it was one way. Kind of, it was two of them. So one goes one way, one goes the other, kind of things. This is a few years back. Nowadays they have a double crossover lane, which is really, really cool, and I think is worth it. So that's the big thing there. The other thing was the fact that you can, like I said, you can run 124 vehicles on that car, on that track. I thought that was really cool as well. But the tracks were really, really expensive. And when I compared it to some of the Scalextric tracks, the price difference was it was about $40 less for a Scalextric, which may not be a big deal when you think about it. But the Scalextric track had a pit stop. I would have to purchase a separate pit stop on the other Carrera track. It had double crossovers. It had wireless controllers already. So that's the other thing too. The Carrera had the wireless controllers, but you have to buy. There's I'll explain to you in a second. But anyhow, yeah. So it had the wireless controllers for each of the cars, which I thought was cool. And so I had the two, and I'm like, what do I do? Oh, Scalextric, the track itself, it's flimsy. It can't come apart. Mine, I keep it together on the floor. It doesn't move or anything like that at all. So I don't have any issues or problems or anything like that at all. It's a soft track. Oh, and the surface on the Scalextric track is a lot better, in my opinion, than the Carrera in terms of having your vehicle grip to the track itself. So those are the things that I weighed out and tried to figure out what would be best for me. And then when it came time to make the purchase, I added up all the things that I would need in order to have at least 3 to 4 cars on the track. And Scalextric had most of those things already in the packet. Carrera did not. And then there was this one thing that Scalextric had that I really, really enjoyed. And that was the fact that if you have analog cars, you can run those analog cars on the Scalextric track. It has a little switch on the side that you can turn off on the Arc Pro. Uh, I don't know. I call it transformer power supply. You switch it, and it runs the cars in an analog mode, so you don't have to chip the cars, which is a plus for me because I do have cars that are analog, and I don't plan on chipping them. So, and chips for vehicles can run anywhere from 35, 40, $50. That could be pretty doggone expensive when you got a few cars. I have like 13 or 14 cars now. So, and then the other thing is I want to buy cars from other manufacturers. I'm not, I don't care too much for some of the Scalextric vehicles because they're kind of toyish. Carrera, I think, is built a little bit better in terms of their vehicles themselves. But there are other vehicles like Slotted and Fly and um, Scale Auto, which I think make better vehicles than the vehicles themselves. So I was buying those. And then with buying those, I have to chip them. So I don't want to chip all of them. So in order to prevent that, I had to put it in. I wanted to get one that was in the analog mode to be able to run those in an analog mode. So I myself personally took the Scalextric because it had a place where I can put it where I could save space. I was able to run it in a digital and an analog mode. I can still run up to 6 cars just like you can on the Carrera. The software on both suck. And I mean, just for lack of a better word, software on both is just atrocious. There is some software out there that you can download, which helps out and runs a whole lot better. There are several different ones. So you can check it out for yourself and use the ones that you like. But that's my end in terms of what I got. So I did end up with a Scalextric track. I have multiple cars, multiple wireless controllers. They all work off of Bluetooth. I can switch over to analog mode. The track is softer. Carrera does have a better digital experience than Scalextric does, but I had to sacrifice something because that analog portion was important to me. So when you're going out to decide what track you're going to get, just make sure you look to see what's going to be important to you. What feature is that one feature you just don't want to be without? So this is Al at Motor City Slot Cars or Motor City Racing. Peace out.